Shalom, shalom, giving all praises and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Machakwadash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be, wherever you may be. Shalom, Yeshua, shalom. All right, so we're going to continue on with the book of Exodus, all right, in chapter 13. So it says consecration of the firstborn. All right. It reads, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, sanctify unto me all the firstborn. All right. All the firstborn. What does the word sanctify mean? Set apart. Pull the word up. All right. Kodash. All right. It says to consecrate, sanctify, prepare, dedicate, be hallowed, be holy, be sanctified, be separate, set apart. All right. So there you go. Be hallowed, be holy. Okay. So it says, sanctify unto me. So set apart unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever openeth the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast, it is mine. All right. So all the firstborn. All right. Children. Okay. And animals. All right. So verse 13 says, I'm sorry, verse 13, verse 3, Exodus chapter 13, verse 3 says that Moses said unto the people, remember this day in which ye came out from Egypt, from Mitzrayim, Matazarium, all right, out of the house of bondage, all right, Egypt meaning double straits, out of the house of bondage, all right, because we were there for a good number of years. It says, for by strength of hand, Yahweh brought you out from this place, okay, and when you're going to, which is very simple, but when you go into strength, all right, okay, the word there is chazak, all right, meaning strength. And also when you go back to yad, or a hand, which should be yad. Yep, here it is right here, yad. You also get what? It says strength, power, see? And so, look, also says sign. And what did the Lord do? All those plagues that he put upon the Egyptians, ending, all right, with the firstborn of all being dead, all right, from man and cattle, okay? And then this is going to come into play later on in the chapter, the great death that came upon the Egyptians from Pharaoh's household on down and all their cattle. This comes into play with us as we continue reading. So it says, out of the house of bondage, for by strength of hand, the Lord Yahweh brought you out from this place. There shall no leavened bread be eaten. All right, going to, I want to say it was the last chapter. All right, the ordinances of the Passover. Okay. So, one of our high holy days, all right, the Passover, is one particular day. And then the week following that Passover, that whole entire week following that Passover, all right, is the Feast of Unleavened Bread, where you're supposed to just eat the flat bread without the yeast, no leaven. Okay. So it says, and you're supposed to eat that every single day for that week. So it says, this day came ye out in the month of Bib, and it shall be when the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites. All right. So the land of the Canaanites. Now, this goes back to what? The promise, all right, that was given to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all right, to give you a land flowing with milk and honey. As a matter of fact, when you go back to, let me get over here to Genesis 10. All right, Genesis chapter 10 and 6. It says, and the sons of Ham, all right, Ham, which in the Hebrew is Chum meaning hot, all right. And the sons of Ham, all right, Cush, and who? Mitzrayim, all right. So it says, the sons of Ham, all right, because we know Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, all right. Japheth is never ever talked about, okay. So people are thinking that so-called white man is Japheth. They're just totally off, because Japheth is never talked about, okay. But you do hear about Ham, and you most definitely hear about Shem, all right, which we come from the line of Shem, okay. So, and instead, you get those so-called Africans, all right, they come from this line of Ham, Ham, all right. So it says, and the sons of Ham, Cush, okay, we should be familiar with hearing the name Cush, all right, and Mitzrayim, which is where we at right now, okay, and Put, and Canaan, which Put is that, I think that's either, is that Libya? I'm not sure if I remember correct. Let me see here. if I can find anything on this. Yep. See, a nation of people, a nation and people of northern Africa, probably Libyans. There you go. See, and it mentions that in Ezekiel 38. All right, as part of those that are going to join up with the bear, which is Russia. All right, that pretty much joining with the BRICS coalition. Anyways, it says, and the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mitzrayim, and Put, and Canaan. Okay, it says, and the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havilah, and Sapta, and Ra'amah, and Sapteka, and the sons of Ra'amah, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord Yahweh. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yahweh. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, and in the land of Shinar, right, which is basically ancient Mesopotamia. It says, out of the land went forth Asher, and builded Nineveh, all right, which that comes into play later on. What's his name? Jonah. I think also in the book of Tobit, if I'm correct, and builded Nineveh, and the city Rehoboth, and Calah, and Rezin between Nineveh and Calah, the same as a great city. And Mitzrayim began Ludum, and Anamim, and Lehabim, excuse me, Lehabim, and Naphtahim, and Pathruzim, and Kazluhim, out of whom came Philistim, and Caphtorim, and Canaan begat Sidon, right? His firstborn. And that's also important because that was part of the lands promised to us, all right? Sidon, okay? His firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgasite, which you're going to see some of these names as we go back, and the Hivite, and the Arkite, and the Sinite, and the Arvidite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite, Hamathite, and afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, all right? So you hear about Sidon and Tyre, which is in the southern, it's off the coast of the Mediterranean and the southern portions of modern day Lebanon, all right? You can look that up on the map. It says, and thou comest, it says, from Sidon as thou comest to Gerar unto Gaza, and we should all know where Gaza is. That's further down that Mediterranean coast, okay? So it says, unto Sodom and Gomorrah and Admah and Zeboim, even unto Lasha. So Lasha would be the furthest extent to these land of Canaan. All right. It says, these are the sons of Ham after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. See? So as we go back over here, it says what? And it shall be when the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee, a land flowing with milk and honey. Thou shalt keep this service in this month. And we already talked about land flowing with milk and honey. It's not talking about honey on every single tree like fruits, and all the rivers are made of milk. No, land flowing with milk and honey, a goodly, pleasant land. Okay, as a matter of fact, I forgot because we can let's get this, all right? A goodly, pleasant land, right? So it's talking about the good land and also dealing with our cattle, because cows make milk, goats make milk, and it's just it's a pleasant land to live on. All right, agriculturally, geographical, wise, and so on and so forth. All right, let me get down here to right here, Jeremiah 3:19. But I said, how shall I put thee among the children and give thee a what? A pleasant land. You see, a goodly heritage of the host of nations. And I said, thou shalt call me my father and shall not turn away from me. Let me see what the other translations say. Jeremiah 3:19 says, I thought to myself, I would love to treat you as my own children. I wanted nothing more than to give you this beautiful land. You see, the finest possession in the world. I look forward to your calling me father, and I wanted you never to turn from me. You see, beautiful land, the finest possession in all the world. As a matter of fact, we can get one more here. Let me get this first. See what the AMP reads. Then I said, how gloriously and honorably I will set you among my children and give you a pleasant land, a wonderful heritage, the most beautiful inheritance of the nations. And I said, you shall call me my father and not turn away from following me. So let's bounce back over here. Okay. So yeah, it says a goodly, pleasant land, right? Flowing with milk and honey. And if we pull up Second Ezra chapter 5, verse 22, well, we'll get down to the point. We'll start at verse 22. It says, and my soul recovered the spirit of understanding, and I began to talk with the Most High again, and said, O Lord, that bearest rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee only one vine. All right, which pretty much dealing with us. All right, we're the Israelites. We're that vine. Okay, and even well, we can get that one too. Let me finish reading this first to make this point. It says, and of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit. You see, where's that one pit? We're reading about it, right? These lands of Canaan that we're going to take over because the Lord promised it to us. You see, all right. And all of the lands of the world, thou hast chosen thee one pit, and of all the flowers thereof, one lily. So the Lord has a favorite flower, the lily. And of all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled thee one river, and of all builded cities thou hast hollowed Sion unto thyself. Okay. And that one river, if I'm correct, that's the Jordan. Because when you go down to breaking down the Garden of Eden, all right, and so on and so forth, all right, it will mention, the river that parted into four heads. That river was talking about the Jordan River. Okay. And then you get the four rivers, all right. So we're not going into that now. All right. So yeah, but the point was there in verse 24. It says, of all the lands, the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit. Now we go and get one more. Let's see if I can get, we're gonna have to punch this up. So, okay, yep, I wanted that. Actually, I didn't want a second. I wanted, okay. All right, so I'm gonna just have to punch it up. Yeah, that's what I want. Second Maccabees. Bear with me as I pull this up. Second Maccabees 5:19. Nevertheless, the Most High did not choose the people for the place's sake, but the place for the people's sake. So there's both in one, right? What is the place? All right, land of Canaan. Who are the people? All right, the Israelites. You see, not all the nations. The Lord doesn't love all the nations. Nah, that's a lie that you hear in the churches, man. The Lord doesn't love everybody. All right. So there you go. Nevertheless, the Most High did not choose the people for the place's sake, but the place for the people's sake. All right. And I believe that's a typo. Every time I see it says for. I believe it's supposed to say for. Okay. So I'm not sure we can get back. Yep, here it is. So it says, and of all the lands of the whole world that has chosen thee one pit. All right. So that is the, let's go back over here to the goodly pleasant land. All right. So there you go. So it says what? A land flowing with milk and honey. All right. So that goodly, even in Daniel, it called, which goes all the way back to Maccabees as well. But in the book of Daniel, it calls it the pleasant land. So, we're talking about, the general area where Jerusalem is and all the, spread about areas abroad. Okay. And as I always mentioned, to this day, we didn't actually receive the full, the full land. We only lived on a portion of it. What's really given to us, if you map it out, which that's what Netanyahu's trying to do, right? If you map it out, we haven't fully, we're going to get that in the kingdom. And then we're still going to inherit the earth. All right. But all those areas that we're supposed to have, there's only going to be Israelites dwelling in those areas. And then the heathens are going to be pushed in wherever they're supposed to be. And they're going to be ruled over by the Israelites. All right. So it's still ultimately and still on their land in a sense. Just going to allow them to live on. Like I gave the example, you have master on the plantation in the big house, right? And then you have slave houses. But those slave houses are for what? Slaves to sleep in, but they belong to master. All right. So that's how it's going to be. Right. When we inherit the earth, they're going to have their own land to live in. Okay. But we're going to govern them and we're going to rule over them. So if we're their rulers, basically we own their land too because we own them. They're our possession. We just gave them their own slave house to live in, which happens to be a portion of land. That's what the Lord is going to do. So let's keep going. Verse 6 says, 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, which we already talked about. And in the seventh day shall be a feast to the Lord Yahweh. All right. Because that's that whole week of the Passover. All right. The Passover night and then the feast of unleavened bread. Verse 7 says, unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days, and there shall no leavened bread be seen with thee. Neither shall there be leaven seen with thee in all thy quarters. So, given in modern day times, if you got leaven in your house, you're supposed to take it out. All right. Before that, especially if you may at work, you might come home, you might have a chance to. All right. So just go and get rid of that leaven. Anything you can find with leaven in it, not just bread alone. Okay. Because there may be other things that have leaven in it. All right. And then we're not being over righteous because if you miss something, okay, you You know how it is, all right? The Lord covers those things, but we know we try to get all leaven. Anything that has leaven in it, all right, you put it out of your house. You're supposed to have it out of your house, right? Because you're not supposed to eat it anyways, okay? But then furthermore, he tells you to put it out of your house, right? It should not be in all your quarters. So verse 8 says, and thou shalt shew thy son in that day, saying, this is done because of, and that as further mention that, all right, we rehearse the righteous acts, right? So we know we're not perfect, okay? The Lord does see your efforts. So it says, and thou shalt shew thy son in that day, saying, this is done because of that which the Lord Yahweh did unto me when I came forth out of Egypt. All right, as we mentioned before in Deuteronomy 4. All right, this is what you tell your son, your son's sons, and so on and so forth. All right, when they ask about, hey, pops, why are we doing this thing here? Okay, son, sit down. Let me tell you. Okay, so this happened, and the Lord did this, and that happened. So this is the reason why. All right. And it shall be for a sign upon thee, upon thy hand, and for a memorial between thine eyes, that the Lord's Yahweh's law may be in thy mouth. For with a strong hand hath the Lord Yahweh brought thee out of Egypt. All right, if I'm correct, let me see. Let me go to one of these others. Actually, no, I don't believe it'll read. You know, let me see here. Let me jump over there real quick to one of these other versions. Okay, yeah, it does say mark. The annual festival will be visible. Will be a visible sign to you like a mark branded on your hand or your forehead. Let it remind you always to recite this teaching of Yahweh with a strong hand. The Lord rescued you from Egypt. Now, if we read this in the AMP, I want to say it comes up. Let me see. Bear with me. Yep, it shall serve as a sign to you on your hand or arm, and as a reminder of your forehead, so that the instruction, law of the Lord may be in your mouth. For with a strong and powerful hand, the Lord brought you out of Egypt. Now you have these fake Israelites, pretty much doing this today. Okay, pretending to be us. All right, let me get back to this KJV real quick. So yeah, we can keep reading because I believe we can actually talk about it further below from correct. But let's keep going. Okay, because I believe it mentions the phylacteries and things of that nature. It says, thou shalt therefore keep this ordinance in his season from year to year. All right, this ordinance is basically, commanded of us to do. Right? Okay, ordinance. All right, see, statute. Ordinance, limit, enactment, something prescribed. When you go to this word statute, it's pretty much prescribed by the Lord. We can get it. I don't know if they, oh, here we go. See, it says in biblical use, a law or decree made by a sovereign or by God, right? See? So we're commanded to do this. Thou shalt therefore keep this ordinance in his season from year to year. All right. And this is what we just mentioned, rehearsing righteous acts. All right. We do things to the best of our ability, because in captivity and not being in our own land, there's certain things that we just can't, accomplish, man. Okay. One of those things is going to come up later. Let's keep reading. It says, and it shall be when the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites, as we just talked about, as he swore unto thee and to thy fathers, and shall give it thee. All right. Goes back to the promises made. All right. Beginning with Abraham, down to Isaac, to Jacob, to us. It says that thou shalt set apart unto the Lord all that openeth the matrix. All right. Not meaning you taking the red pill. All right. This is talking about, the womb. Okay. And every firstling that cometh of a beast, which thou hast, the males shall be the Lord's. And every firstling of an ass thou shalt redeem with it. And this is pretty much, early tithing. All right. As a matter of fact, yeah. Malachi 3. Let me get over here real quick, if I can find it. Yep, you see? Malachi 3:8, will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me, but ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings. So if you had $1, the Lord would get 10 cents. You had $100, the Lord would get $10. All right? That's, these are early signs of tithing to the Lord, which we can go further back than that. Because dealing with Melchizedek and Abraham, all right, giving tithes and so on and so forth, okay, which is also mentioned again in the book of Hebrews, all right. So, but I'm just saying, early signs of tithing to the Lord, okay, because before we couldn't do this, all right, we were trapped in Egypt, you see, all right. It says, ye are cursed with the curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, all right. And when you go into this word tithes here, it's pretty much 10%, as we just mentioned. All right, the word is ma'ashar, right? My Ishar. See, tithe, 10th part. See, tithe payment of a 10th part. See? So it says, bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house. And prove me now herewith, said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. And that's dealing with our land, all right? That goodly, pleasant land we were living on. And we were, pretty much farmhands and shepherds, all right? Dealing with cattle and the land and things of that nature. All right. So the windows of heaven will be the rain the Lord will send down. All right. The rain in its due season. All right. The early rain and the latter rain. All right. And so when our crops come up, they will come up very, very fruitful, and so fruitful that, what did you just say? There will not be room enough to receive it. There's not enough places for you to store it. Okay. You can't eat enough of it. You can't store enough of it because you have an abundance. See? So let's go back. So it says that thou shalt set apart unto the Lord Yahweh all that openeth the matrix, and every firstling that cometh of a beast which thou hast, the males shall be the Lord's. And every firstling of an ass thou shalt redeem with a lamb. All right. It says, and if thou wilt not redeem it, then thou shalt break his neck, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that. But if you didn't want to redeem it to the Lord, you still have to kill it. All right. You got to kill it. You can't keep it because it's supposed to be the Lord's. Okay. So you didn't want to redeem it. All right. Break its neck. Right, and all the firstborn of men among thy children shalt thou redeem. All right, if you read this in other translations, let's get this. We'll get the AMP first. All right, verse 13 says, every firstborn of a donkey ye shall redeem by substituting a lamb as a sacrifice for it. But if you do not wish to redeem it, then you shall break its neck. And every firstborn among your sons you shall redeem. That is, buy back from the Most High with a suitable sacrifice. All right. See what the NLT reads. It says a firstborn donkey may be brought back from the Lord Yahweh by presenting a lamb or a young goat in its place. But if you do not buy back, you must break its neck. However, you must buy back every firstborn son. You must buy back every firstborn son. All right. I mean, because honestly, on a deeper level, this purpose of keeping your children alive. All right. Because you don't want the Lord, do something to your children. Okay. He says every firstborn. All right. From the children to the cattle. Right. So it says, in every firstling of an ass thou shalt redeem with a lamb, and if thou wilt not redeem it, then thou shalt break his neck, and all the firstborn of men among thy children shalt thou redeem. All right, so we're going on. Verse 14 says, and it shall be when thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, what is this? That thou shalt say unto him, by strength of hand, the Lord Yahweh brought us out from Egypt, from the house of bondage. All right, so this is basically what we just mentioned. All right, your son asks you, Dad, why are you doing this? Right? Why did you, sacrifice this? Why do you do that? What's this redeem thing all about? Okay, it's because of what we went through. All right, and this was commanded of us by the Lord. All right, after that deliverance. So it says, and it came to pass when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, that Yahweh slew all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of men and the firstborn of beasts. All right, so he's breaking it down to him. All right, so this is what happened. All right, this is what the Lord did unto Pharaoh and all his household and all the Egyptians. All right, Pharaoh would hardly let us go. He wouldn't let us go. That Yahweh slew all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of men and the firstborn of beasts. Therefore I sacrifice to Yahweh all that openeth the matrix, being males, but all the firstborn of my children I redeem. See? So there is no cutting corners when it comes to the children, right? You got to make that, redemption, that sacrifice there. All right. But there's, I don't want to call it stipulations, but you get it, the substitution and things of that nature. And if you didn't, you have to break his neck. You can't keep it. All right. Absolutely not. Okay. So it says, and it shall be for a token upon thine hand, and for frontlets between thine eyes. For by strength of hand, the Lord Yahweh brought us forth out of Egypt. Yeah, that's what we mentioned before, the frontlets, all right? The word there is, all right, Tawat Pawath, bands, you see, phylacteries, frontlets, marks, right? And this is what was mentioned, all right? Yahushua, getting on those wicked Pharisees, talking about they brought in their phylacteries, okay? It says a small leather box containing Hebrew text on vellum, All right, worn by Jewish men at morning prayer as a reminder to keep the law, which is why IUICs are constantly got on, because they're always going off on a doctrine. Then they're always screaming, law, 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 this. All right, somebody asks them a valuable question, and they try to, cut left and say law this, right? Or it's above your understanding. Law, 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 law. All right, well, where are your phylacteries? Okay, if it's all about the law. Vellum is a fine parchment made originally from the skin of a calf, smooth writing paper imitating vellum. All right. So phylactery, right? So you see this, all right? So what Yahushua was speaking on, broaden their phylacteries, okay? And this is these fake people pretending to be us today. This is what they do. You see them with the arms tied up, all right? Like they're about to, hit that vein or something. Okay, and the box on their head, all right? The phylacteries, see? And once again, this is what Yahushua talked about when he was getting at those wicked Pharisees, saying they brought in their phylacteries. So they made the box extra big, you know, and all the extra stuff that they were doing. You see these people pretending to be us, all right? And same, you can get frontlets, which I believe this is, matter of fact, I want to have to get into that. I want to say you go into the priest garments. It was Exodus 28, right? When it talks about, the priest garments, all right? And speaking on that, these are probably mentioned, towards the priests, because, the priests were the ones that did the, all the temple things and all that nature, right? Those were the Levites. So when it talks about, be for a token upon thine hand, all right, and for frontlets between thine eyes, for by strength of the hand the Lord brought us forth out of Egypt. This was probably spoken to the Levites, because these are the ones that did the temple service and all those things. All right. So, anyways, continuing on, it says God leads the people. Actually, I might want to read that one because that's good. The Exodus 40. It says, then a cloud covered, Exodus chapter 40, verse 34 through 38. It says, then a cloud covered the tent. We know the cloud is talking about a chariot. All right. But the pillar of cloud by day is what? It was projected from that chariot, and a pillar of fire by night. It says, then a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord Yahweh filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter into the tent of the congregation because the cloud abode thereon, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And when the cloud was taken up from over it, so this probably, he felt probably a strong wind, pushing him back to even get through, to try to push through. But, just extrapolating there. It says, and when the cloud was taken up, from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys, because this cloud was taken up. What? It was, like I just mentioned, it was projected from the chariot. That pillar of cloud by day was projected from the chariot. It's probably like a kind of like a tornado would be, but it was just, a pillar of a cloud. But then at nighttime, it would burst into flames. So it would be a pillar of fire. All right. And it would show them. So it'd be like a fire tornado, right? Showing them the way. And it was what? Projected from a chariot, which we know that chariot was Yahushua. All right. Guiding us. Okay. That's what Paul spoke about in, I believe it was in Corinthians. Okay. So it says, when the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys. But if the cloud were not taken up, then they journeyed not till the day that it was taken up, because this was our guiding light. All right. For the cloud of Yahweh was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was on it by night. You see, as we just mentioned, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout all their journeys. You see? Which makes you, when you read stuff like this, it just, man, makes you really want to project yourself to back then, because it's like, man, how did the Israelites go off after everything the Lord did? They knew it was the Lord. He showed many miracles in the wilderness, fed us, did this, did that, then made our clothes right away. And man, the pillar of cloud, like how did you go off? How did you make the golden calf? But hey, this is all part of the story that the Lord wrote out for a purpose, man. So continuing on, verse 17 says, and it came to pass when Pharaoh had let the people go, that the Most High led them not through the way of the land of the Philistines, which that's not the first time it's mentioned, all right? I think this might be, I can't remember. I believe it, but it's mentioned multiple times. When we're reading here, it says, although that was near, meaning it was close, because I think in the other place it says nigh, all right? But anyways, because nigh meaning near, that was near. Basically, it was the shortest distance to their destination. For the Most High said, lest peradventure the people repent when they see war and they return to Egypt. Now, it doesn't mean repent from sins. All right. It goes into, having regret and, pretty much, doubting this journey, right? So the word there is naham or naham. All right. And it says what? See, to be sorry, console himself, repent, regret. There it is. Regret, comfort, to be comforted. All right. Look, to rue. All right. We can pull that up. Okay. Because it goes into it stronger. See, bitterly regret. See? So it says, when they see war and they return to Egypt. But the Most High led the people about through the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea. And the children of Israel went up harnessed out of the land of Egypt. And we mentioned that before in one of our sessions, harnessed, all right, almost, in formation like armies. And we'll literally say that. All right, the word there is Hamash. And it says in battle array, arrayed for battle by fives armed. You see? So there you go. So it says, and Moses took the bones of Joseph, right, with him, for he had straitly sworn the children of Israel, saying, the Most High will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones away hence with you. Yeah, that was what he told him at the end of Genesis. Okay, right at the bottom of the chapter. And that was prophetic because Yahweh already said that, hey, the Lord's going to deliver you. All right. But we, of course, have to live it down. Just like now, today's time. The Lord's going to deliver us. It's written. We believe that. We have faith in that. But we actually have to live it out. You see? Here it is, Genesis 50:24. And Yahweh said unto his brethren, I die, and the Most High will surely visit you and bring you out of this land. You see? Not maybe. Now he's going to roll the dice. Now he's going to chop it up with the angels. All right. He will surely visit you and bring you out of this land unto the land which he swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, which we talked about earlier. All right. Promised to us, the land of Canaan. See? And Yahweh took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, the Most High will surely visit you. He doubled down on it. All right. The Most High places it once, and he says it twice. How serious is he? He said this through the mouth of Joseph, right? And Yahweh said, take an oath to the children of Israel, saying, the Most High will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones from hence. You will carry up my bones because the Lord will visit you and he will deliver you. So you will carry my bones because I don't want to stay here in Egypt. I want to go with you. You can bury me, elsewhere. All right. But I mean, of course, he's already buried, but you get my point, though. All right. I want when y'all leave Egypt, I want to leave out of this place. I don't want even my bones to rest in this place because this is a place of captivity. Though Joseph rose up to be second in Egypt, this is still the land of his captivity because he wasn't ruler of Egypt. That means we would never have to leave the land because, Joseph would have just been ruling there. We would all been his people. All right. So no, it's still a land. Though he was second in charge under Pharaoh, he was still captive in that land. All right. He might have had power, but he was still subject under Pharaoh. You see? So yeah, bring my bones up when y'all roll out. So Yahweh died being 110 years old. And man, it's beautiful because it makes me think about one of my favorite verses in Psalms 110, all right? That has to do with our youth, okay? It says, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt, all right? So we can bounce back and finish this chapter off. So, and Moses took the bones of Yahweh with him, for he had straitly sworn to the children of Israel, saying, the Most High will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones away hence with you. And they took their journey from Succoth and encamped in Etham in the edge of the wilderness. Now, sometimes these places are, scholars can exactly find these places. Sometimes you can. All right. The word there is Atam. Okay. Atham. Yeah. Atham. Yep. So with them, the plowshare says a stopping place for Israel during the Exodus. So not sure what we can come up with, but we'll punch it in anyways. Yeah, I'll get at least hit images before we go back. Yeah, just on this dude here. Oh, wait. I see Bible Mount, Bible Atlas, and I use that. Okay, so there you go. So look, you see, this is what I mentioned before. You see Succoth? They have Succoth, but they also have a question mark, meaning we think it might be here, but we're not quite sure. All right, so this could be the place, but it might not be. All right, this is just where they think it is. See, Marah is another one. All right, where the Lord cast the tree into the water, made it sweet. Baal-Zephon. All right, Etham. Okay, so this is where they're saying Etham is, supposedly. All right, because they still could be wrong, even though they have it pinpoint. Still could be wrong. All right, but you get the general idea there. All right. See, here's another one. Hahiroth, question mark. Don't get. Oh, here it is. So there you go. All right. So going back, they're letting us back. Okay, here we go. All right. So it says in the edge of the wilderness, right? So it says, and Yahweh went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud, right? This is what we always read when you go to Acts. All right, it mentions that cloud, and it'll say that when you go into the word, it say cloud, the cloud that led the Israelites in the wilderness. So there's no shadow of a doubt what it's talking about here. It says, and Yahweh went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day and night. He took not away the pillar of cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night from before the people. And we know, as we just read it, all right, if the cloud wasn't lifted up from the tabernacle, we stay. When the cloud lifted up, we already knew, oh, we about to get into some movement. All right, so we are going to start the packing up. All right, and then it will come back, obviously come back down. All right, and show us that cloud, pillar of cloud by day to lead the way. And at nighttime, when it got dark, we didn't stop traveling. We had the pillar of fire by night. All right. Now, of course, we probably stopped at some points to, even at night to rest. But the thing is, it was the fire for light. All right. I almost want to see, was that 1 Corinthians 10? I can't remember. I don't read it often. I need to start reading more often. What Paul mentioned. Not sure. I might be wrong. First or 2 Corinthians, is it one? Because I always forget where it is. But Paul mentions it, he breaks it down. Pretty much tells you that this was Yahushua. So if you were wondering why I said that, I always forget where it is because I don't often read it, which is why I want to read it more. Let me see. How is it worded? As a matter of fact, let's see what precepts are here real quick. Wait, here we go. I was just there. Was that it? Let me see. Let me get down here, and it's right at the bottom. Okay. Let me see if this is about to be point made. Yep, there we go. See? I was right the first time. 1 Corinthians 10. I was in the ballpark. Like I said, I don't often read it, so I want to keep reading it more so I can remember, because it's very good to remember, especially when you're speaking on that portion there in Exodus chapter 13. And as we just mentioned, Acts chapter 9, right? It's like a chain reaction there. 1 Corinthians 10:1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud. You see, under the cloud. Oh, I didn't want to go to previous. Let me back up. I was trying to hit the Strong's button. All right. So let's see what comes up for cloud. Nephilim, yep. So I know what it's going to say. Use the cloud which led the Israelites in the wilderness, which takes us back to Exodus 13, which is why this is a precept. You cannot make this up, man. Okay? Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud, the chariot, and all passed through the sea, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink. For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was the Messiah. You see, it was Yahushua. So that pillar of cloud by day, pillar of fire by night, that was being projected from the chariot, that was Yahushua. You see, in where? In the Old Testament. In the Old Testament, for you Yah Israelites, man. Okay, talk about the Most High never spake after Malachi, and whatever they say about Yahushua according to the New Testament or whatever. Nah, man, your doctrine is all off, and the Lord's doctrine is undeniable. See, he says, "My doctrine shall drop like the rain." Not the Yah Israelites. Okay, all off. So there you go, man. See, you can't make it up, man. When you go precept upon precept, all right, it's broken down, and we did that easily. Okay, not with a bunch of fancy, fanciness. All right, we kept it simple as possible. Lord will, I kept it simple. Okay, because I know I'm not the best with my words, but I do my best. All right. So there you go. Point made. Yeah, because we can read more on that, but that's the point right there, verse 1 through 4. Okay. So yeah, that was the end of Exodus. Chapter was it 13? Because I'm reading too many scriptures now. Yeah, Exodus chapter 13. All right, so Lord willing, you will edify to next time. Y'all Shalom. Say Shalom.